Hello everybody, welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and in today's video we're going to do a upgrade on my mill, part 1. I've been looking at some videos on YouTube, and I've seen several videos where people have turned their mill into power feed, and it just so happens that the several that I've seen are people I was subscribed to, like Mr. Pragmatic Lee, and Blondie Hacks. I watch her a lot. I like watching her work. She's got pretty good. She does pretty work. Getting tongue tied. She does pretty good work. And then there's Cloud 42, but he got into real technical and technology, and he's into that stuff. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. So the goal here is to put a motor right here, not too big but not too small, and I think I found the candidate. I've already ordered it, and it should be here next week. I hope. But anyway, I've got the end cap off of it, and I'm going to mount the motor and everything right here. But I want to make it so that I can engage it and disengage it. That way I can still use my hand wheels if I want to do that. This is not a CNC mill, but if it was to be a CNC mill, that would actually help me if I was ever to turn it into one. I've already got a start on making this one right. I just have to change the motor to a stepper motor. Pretty simple. But I'm only worried about this travel. Eventually I might do the front travel. I don't know, we'll see. But I would like, now whether this happens or not, I don't know. It probably won't happen to start, but I want to make it with limiter switches. That way, if you do actually misjudge your time, you walk outside and you hear it and you misjudge something and it crashes, if it gets to a limit, you can set those limit switches. So I've got a bunch of limit switches. I just got to figure out how to run them. I've done it once on a trailer, my dump trailer that I built 6 years ago, and it had limiter switches so that when you raised it up, when it hit the limit switch, it stopped where you wanted it to stop, where you didn't want to go beyond. So I always allow myself about 1.5 inches to 2 inches before it shuts off. So on a dump bed, and the same the other way. So, but anyway, I'm getting off topic. I've got to shorten this block. I really didn't want to do it, but there's no way possible that I'm going to get that thing machined for 2 drift pins that are machined and ground. These are ground drift pins, so I'm just going to use the existing one. Now, to get that to happen, I have to cut this cap off of the end of it, because I need a way to put a collar on this. So let me put you down here, we'll show you what I'm doing. So this cap is like that right there. And when I pulled it off, I realized I was going to cut a slit in it and make a new bushing to go in here. But there's no bearing in this. It's just a straight hole. Same material all through it. It's all one piece. So basically they just did that to act as a dust cover, because you really don't need that much sticking out. So I'm going to machine almost all this off down to about probably 5 millimeters of being all the way to this flat surface. And I'm going to cut it down so that I can put a collar on this and put a set screw on it, because this rod, it's going in about that far before it starts, so I got to go all the way back to almost flat. So that's what we're setting up for. That way, once I get this put back together, I can still use the same cap that is still precision, and it ain't going to change nothing, except it's just going to take the dust cover off of this end of it. It's going to be about 16 millimeters worth of shaft sticking out by the time I'm done. So that way I can put a set screw on this. And the beauty part about it is, check that out. It's got a keyway in it. So I'm going to have to make sure I don't hit that with the set screw. I'll put the set screw on the back side of it. But I've got a little play in it. But that's alright. I got DRO. It doesn't matter. So I've already got set up here. Nothing's changed. It's still a flat surface. Let me clean the bottom of that, make sure it's nice and true. Using my socks. I wish I was using my old lady's socks, but I don't have an old lady. Sure wish I had one. Now, the only thing that concerns me about this is I'm on a round surface here on the back side, so I don't think I'm going to do that. Plus, that puts my bit too close to my jaw, and that's a little unnerving for me. So I'm going to try to figure out something to put in here that will keep this round surface off of this and give you more rigidity. So we'll look around here and see what we got that we can use for that. Alright, so I went over and found these. These are just big old nuts, and both of them are identical. So we're going to put that there, and then we're going to put that there. And then we're going to tighten that down. Or are we? What, is one of them lower than the other one? Alright guys, it looks like we're not going to be able to do that because this width right here is actually shorter than this width over here. Now I don't know, I don't understand that, but that's kind of bullshit if you ask me. Let me try it one more time. Yeah, it's not tightening up. This one over here is tight, but this one's not. So that's really a lot. So how much is that thing off? I wonder. Let's just check it and see. Alright. That side is 50.37. This side is 48.34. Big difference. So that ain't gonna work. So we're just gonna have to take a chance and hope that being up against that round part is gonna keep it tight enough. So that's what we're gonna do. Still got 3 points. It's not gonna turn, it's just I don't want it to loosen up. If there was a way to put a clamp on this to hold it down, but I'm not going to do that because then it would be in the way. Alright, so let's go ahead and start milling this thing. we've got that machined off and looks pretty good. We know it's parallel with this because this is the factory finish. So now we get to put her back in place, and that's all we have to do with the mill. So I've got a motor that I just ordered, 26 bucks on eBay, and we're hoping it'll work. I've seen another guy do it. He used the same motor, and it's got plenty of torque for what I need. So now let's check this and see if it works. But before we do, let's put a little bit of oil on that and on them pins. They are some kind of tight fit. So now we'll go ahead and put this back in line. And then I'm just going to tap it with a little hammer. Alright, so now we've got that. Now we can put our screws back in it. Get my socket back out. I'll tell you, these HED sockets, man, I love them, man. You got every size you need. You got metrics on the top and standard on the bottom. And you probably see that in my video a lot. Alright, so now we've got this mill to where it can accept a set screw bushing. And we're back to normal again. So let me put my tools away and we'll be back. So there you have the first part of this build, and this is probably going to be a couple weeks before it's done, simply because I don't have the parts here yet. I've got a controller that I'm thinking about using. I'm getting ready to go walk past you. I've had this for quite a few years. I bought it when I was in Winston-Salem living in North Carolina. And it's just been in a box. I think it's been beat up a little bit. But it's got a readout on it, and it's got a potentiometer, and it's got a switch. But we got to change that. And I may just go ahead and get the right one that's got the rocker switch. Actually, I might be able to use a rocker switch on this one. So, yeah, we'll just replace that with a rocker switch. So, we're going to use this, but we're going to have to put this controls somewhere where it's nice to work with. And I'm thinking real serious about making some kind of a control panel for all this stuff and move it to back here or right here. Since this is where I stand, right here would be the perfect place to have a little console that shows everything I need to know about. Because this is the mill bench. This bench is dedicated for this mill, and it is a mill bench, nothing else. You ain't putting no lathe on here. So anyway, so I need to move all this stuff, because another project I'm thinking about doing in the near future is I'm thinking real serious about putting an H-beam back here in the back side of this thing and have a big steel. I'd prefer a 1/2-inch steel plate, the same shape as the bottom of this mill, and have it so that it goes back. The H-beam is welded to it on the back side, and then bolt this to the H-beam. I'm hoping that will sturdy it. This thing is just not very rigid at all. Most of it's in this freaking head where it turns. So we're trying to upgrade this thing the best we can. I should have got the 0704, but I couldn't afford it at the time. So anyway, if somebody got a 0704 and they want to do some wheeling and dealing, let me know. Anyway, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. You guys have a good one. Later.